2.5 weeks away from what we hope is the launch of programming from our Park Ridge studio. Just the standard walkthrough at the end of the week. We'll start off going through the basic ones where again we start off just showing you not much has changed here. Looking at the conference room. The early part of each of these videos just shows the office and the status of the office. Doing this again after hours. So I'll zip through this first part. Much of everything here. It's being used now. But lots of activity in the studios. So as I slowly walk through here, I will say that we've got a few contractors that are working up a storm and have been absolutely invaluable in hoping to make that March 3rd date all studio work. We have moved a few people into here as of today. But these contractors have just been absolute wiring machines and have us way ahead of where we were before they started. And I don't mean that as, well, they kind of did okay. They really have stormed through, straight shot all the way through into the equipment room. You'll notice it's really messy this week. It's a lot messier than it's been in weeks past, partly because of all the activity going on. And partly just because I'm not doing this at the exact end of the week. But we'll move into the network studio. This is where the bulk of the activity is going on. TVs are installed, and much to the chagrin of Damien, the TV isn't buttoned down yet. But we are heavy duty. You will notice in this studio a couple of quick things. I'll take a quick long shot and then we'll take a look at each one of the racks again. The rock console, the Logitech board is here. The remainder of the Logitech items for the studio we do have up on top of the rack. And now we will go underneath. Starting here on rack 1. Bear with me just a second. Processors. And then on the bottom here, the power supply for the board. Lower rack 2, the SAS, a placeholder CD player, the World feed panel, and an APC power strip. Lower rack 3, we have a switch, the TV controls and DVR, DVD recorder. Then we have a distribution amp and some matchboxes. Going up, upper rack 1, 2 ISDN boxes, the Route 3 and 2 button 12s, and finally the headphone distribution. Upper rack 2, APC power strip, Comrex Mix Minus, the Sony mini disc, CD read write, and another Sony mini disc recorder. You will notice the 1x6 in the back there, partially activated. And as I go, moving now as if you were looking forward, you'll notice the 2 monitors, and underneath the upper racks, you'll notice a couple of keyboard and mice. This will be control of both Network Simian and the NTD Simian. The board is, again, all of this all in process. The Logitech Rock is in place but not connected yet. So lots going on in this studio. I'll take you over into the NTD studio next. Oh yeah, one addition as of today. We have closers on the doors, so these doors now should come sealed tight, and that'll be finished off tomorrow. This one, there's a little bit of a problem with the closer not closing properly, so it's being held open at this point. NTD Studio, you will notice a little bit of noise going on because I've got the T1 from Green Bay coming through the board. So we'll start with just a quick scan all the way around. Again, Damien, TVs aren't buttoned down yet. We'll start lower. All the way underneath, we've got mic processors in the lower one, along with the board power supply. And 2 headphone distribution, SAS router, the monitor speaker amplifiers, and an APC power strip down at the bottom. Boy, that got really blurry quick. And then the end rack, we have the Comcast DVD stuff, a matchbox, and a distribution amp, and that takes care of the lower. Moving up, upper rack 1, future ISDN codec at the top. We've got a Telos Extreme, Comrex Mix Minus, and then the Logitech stuff, a Route 3, 2-button 12s, and the headphone again. Rack 2 upper, APC power strip, Tascam cassette, CD read-write, and 2 Denon CD players. In the final rack, we've got the switch and a couple of mini disc read-writes. Again, more likely, this is what it's going to look like. You'll see the Telos 2x12 desktop director, partially up but not quite activated yet. You'll notice 2 keyboard and mice, and just to the right of the upper racks, 2 Simians, the top one being the NTD, the bottom one being the network Simian. The Harris board is passing audio, Father Simon at this point. And you will notice the rock is somewhat active, but obviously needs the programming from Dan, which will happen next week. So that's what's going on here in the NTD studio. Finally, we'll head over to the equipment room and do a quick walkthrough here. And we'll go through each one of these, just the front of them, with a quick look in the back. Rack 1. We'll be testing the meters all tomorrow. Then you've got the Logitech, the Route 3, the button 12s, VU meters, portable microphone, well not portable, but microphone that we can use in emergency cases for NTD, 8x2, simple support mix, mix minus bridge, matrix, ISDN, mono switch selector designed by Dan, patching for not only our stuff but also the SAS and the SAS source distribution. The Telos 1x6 right next to that, matchbox, and I'm just going to call it additional switching as we go a little bit further here. Remote control stuff, APC, and then the supervisor main and backup. Going back up and looking at rack 2, Very similar to Rack 1. Metering, Logitech stuff at the top. Then it's all the ESE clock stuff. A little bit more metering. The Symmetrix broadcast delay. 16:4 distribution. Comrex access, so we have an IP codec, we have an ISDN codec, and a POTS codec, all located real close together. Then the patching, the Miranda DA, analog DA underneath that. TELUS 2x12, which at this point has a bad front screen, but we should be replacing that next week. The DAN power device or power distribution. Then the two Simians, the NTD at the top and the network or the ShyNet at the bottom. Rack 3, start at the top here with XY router, the network switch, utility computer, KVM video and keyboard, patching underneath that. Then the actual KVM switch, the terminal panels, and then ending with the audio engine. And Rack 4 we'll take you through really quick. Mostly telco and IT here. Most of the routing, switching, office stuff, phone stuff, until we get down to the T1 connections there. And then just because I do like to, something I've never done is really kind of turn around and show you the look from the other side, looking from the equipment room out. And finishing by showing you the punch block wall, which at this point seems a little dark because I actually turned all the lights off, not thinking first. And there you go. 2.5 weeks away from what we hope is the launch, and progress continues on.